So KULR technology stock, the trailblazing battery innovator, just dropped a bombshell. It's a massive Bitcoin bet that's kind of rocking the stock. We need to know what's next, if they're a buy, a sell, or a hold. And in the next few seconds, we're going to do some breakdown to find the crucial moves for KULR stock. Now, if you guys would like a lifetime access to StockMate, it's vanishing soon. So join me live at Market Open, trade alongside a proven community, and surround yourself with like-minded traders and investors. Just lock in the deal now before it's a semi-pricey subscription that you probably don't want to have. But if you want lifetime access, you can get it in the second link down below. Also, guys, make sure to smash that like button if you're here. Let's uncover KULR stock in this video. KULR stock was at 27 cents back in November of 2024. It shot up to $5.60. So that's a massive increase. It's basically, it's over 10x. And then after that big run that we covered basically through November into this peak here, and we've still been covering it, it has sold off and it's currently at $2.15. So about 50% down from that high, but still up massively from where it was in November. So we're going to get into three things today. We're going to look at the market growth and potential for KULR. We're going to look at the technicals, the fundamentals, and the financials. And then we're going to end this video with a plan for what we can see here in the near term for KULR stock. So one of the things we want to consider is this sell-off that it had from the high was basically a 66% sell-off. So it's down quite a bit from that high. That means that there could be some potential recovery, and we've been watching this consolidation take place. We're going to kind of uncover why this recovery seems possible. But as you can see, here's a previous resistance, previous support, previous support. It's actually at this consolidation, this support level that it's notoriously been bouncing at around $2 a share. And then you can see the resistance here. Right here is a previous resistance, previous support. Then it's acting as a resistance right here. You can see that pretty clearly. So basically KULR stock, when we zoom in, we can see some of this consolidation that started back here at the bottom in the beginning of January or close to mid-January. And we see it just bouncing between these levels. And now it's kind of dropped back down from that 265, the top of the resistance, got rejected earlier this week. That was the swing that a lot of investors were able to play. If you're in StockMate, we were covering it earlier this week, and this swing right here from the support to the resistance was about a 32% swing. Does that happen predictably? Well, in the past 2 weeks it has, but KULR stock is a highly volatile stock because it's such a small market cap. Some of you guys are familiar with the company's financials, but we'll take a look here so that you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. But this is a smaller company, just $500 million market cap, so fairly small. $2 a share, again, kind of puts it in that penny stock range. They have partnerships with the US Navy. They have partnerships with NASA, as well as Lockheed Martin and others. And they're positioning themselves, they have their headquarters in San Diego, but they have some of their operations in Texas, and it's right next to some of the other space companies that are kind of up and coming. So they're an up and coming space company. They're launching with SpaceX in 2026. They're launching their batteries up into space, and we'll get into some of their product. But let's take a look at their financials. You can see year over year, they're up about 4.7% in the revenue. You can see the revenue was down a little bit the quarter previously, just about zero, and then previously it was up 28%. But if we look at their last earnings, they kind of surprised. They were up 63% on net income. Net profit margins were still a little negative, about 62% there, but up 65% year over year. So they're improving on their financial side of things. But one of the things that has changed the financials, and I would love to get into more of the tech, but before I have to address something, they recently invested big on Bitcoin. And so this is something that I want you guys to be aware of. They have revenue of just about 3.2 million in that quarter. So the net income was negative 2 million. But here's the deal. If we go to KULR, they invested about, in total at this point, 60 million. They've invested 60 million in Bitcoin. So they are investing heavily in Bitcoin. So all of their surplus cash, they're saying 90% of surplus cash, and it's at market equity program to fund purchases. This is where things get a little bit tricky and where people need to have some caution with approaching this stock. You can look at the company's products. If you go into their website, okay, you can see they work with NASA, they're working with Lockheed Martin, the Department of Transportation, as well as Federal Aviation. And of course, they have some cutting edge tech with thermal management. They specialize in managing lithium ion batteries from start to finish. They work down to the cellular level, and they have developed a proprietary carbon composite material that allows for their batteries to withstand extreme temperatures and still function very efficiently. And so they're in that. They're also in software for batteries, so managing large battery systems in software, and recently signed a big deal or a partnership with a solar company as well. Worksport forged strategic partnership to advance battery technology and U.S. manufacturing. That's a solar deal. So they're kind of all over the industry, and that's all nice and that's good to see. But when you look at some of the investment risks of KULR, they've bought close to $60 million in Bitcoin, and that's well above their revenue that they saw for the entire year. And if they're a $500 million market cap and they invested $60 million in Bitcoin, there are some things that are kind of, you got to think about. Let's say that they're like MicroStrategy, and we look at this Bitcoin, and let's say they're buying Bitcoin and they fund further purchases by selling shares of their own stock. It can be a little bit problematic for investors. And the reason why is because even if you're bullish on Bitcoin, which personally I am, I think it's good that they're putting their surplus cash into Bitcoin. If they issue new shares and then sell them to buy Bitcoin, it's going to increase the number of outstanding shares. It's going to dilute some of the existing shareholders, meaning each share represents a smaller percentage of ownership in the company if they're issuing more. And even if Bitcoin does appreciate from this move, and we could look at it, it says average purchase price on their additional purchases were 103,000. Average purchase price, and then some of their other 21, they kind of bought it in chunks, so they bought 21 million before that, and then before that they bought 21 million, and I think their average purchase price is around 99,000 or somewhere in there. And so you could look at Bitcoin price if you kind of drop into Bitcoin price, so this can kind of make sense. The Bitcoin price right now is at 97,500. So they're probably down a little bit. And part of that, let's say that Bitcoin struggles, and I think it's going to be good long term. Let's just say it struggles and it's highly volatile. Maybe it's 10, 20% swings in a short amount of time. If KULR's key function is their battery technology, which we see that as their main thing, and that's their core business, shifting to some of the Bitcoin speculation or investing in Bitcoin, that could increase some of the instability for investors in the company. Yeah, they could get some people investing because they're bullish on Bitcoin, but it's going to detract from their core business growth. So KULR should be investing, in my eyes, if they have such good battery tech and they have that kind of cash that they can come up with $50 million, well, or $60 million. I mean, why? I think KULR should be investing in their own research and development, their own marketing or their own production, and not becoming more of like a Bitcoin hedge fund. If they are, start a separate company. But I think when companies, they stray too far away from their core competencies, that can cause some underperformance as in the company as a whole. And the other thing that we have to realize about this move is, and I like their technology, so I'm not saying that they're a bad company or anything like that, but you have to look at this move and say, well, if they have 3.2 million in that quarter revenue, and let's say they've already taken a million or two, or let's say $1 million loss already as Bitcoin's gone down a little bit. The regulatory and accounting issues kind of come up where they're a public company. If they hold Bitcoin, they have to deal with impairment losses. If Bitcoin drops in value, it must be reported as a loss on the balance sheet. And this could make the earnings reports become pretty erratic. And that could lead to some lower investor confidence if Bitcoin's down. I mean, if Bitcoin goes up, yeah, that looks really good for their confidence from investors. But I think if there's a lot of positive, let's see how the market responds. Ever since the Bitcoin moves that happened, the market, at least investors, haven't seen that there's been any momentum increase in KULR. They started doing it right at the end of the year. The stock's only gone down since they started allocating into Bitcoin. And so that could cause some selling pressure. I just want to take a step back here. I mean, we're looking at the financials. They're in a great market. It's a growing market, battery tech. They're going to be launching in that SpaceX mission 2026 that they're paying SpaceX to do. And they're going to expose their batteries in the industry. And they're in drone tech. They got the Navy contracts. They're in some good spots. They got some drone contracts as well with drone companies. But if let's say they continuously sell their stocks in order to buy Bitcoin, the stock could perpetually face some downward pressure. And let's say there's more people buying, but they're doing that. Investors could just fear dilution or the share price could just have lack of appreciation because of that. So if they really want Bitcoin exposure, they should use some of their existing cash reserves and their profits from their company exclusively and not be selling shares in order to buy Bitcoin. That's the way that I think they should approach it. And we're going to need some more clarification. We'll see when they sell. They're reporting when they buy Bitcoin. Are they reporting when they sell Bitcoin? We also need that. So we need to get some more clarity around their income statements, and we'll see in this next earnings call. But I mean, from a technical perspective, and let's say that they do continue to innovate, they do continue to become a player with some of these bigger companies in the space industry, especially related to batteries. Right now on the technical side, they look like a buy. Some of the news that's come out around their partnerships looks good. It's just this Bitcoin thing it's going to shake them. It's kind of a risk. But as far as their battery tech company goes, they are having some good moves, and they are at the support around $2. And that increase could be about a 30% increase that we do see happen when it happens, usually in one day. And then if they get back to getting that momentum and pushing above, and possibly last time we covered it when it was at this resistance, we were saying if it pushes above this resistance and uses it as a support, then we could see them rally. If they rally to previous highs, that's 100 to 200% high, but they're going to have to come out with some more numbers. Either Bitcoin's going to have to go crazy, which they don't want to have to rely on that, or they're going to have to do some more work that's going to give some more investor sentiment that's more positive. And so if you guys have any specific articles or things you've uncovered, feel free to leave them in the comment section. As far as next moves for KULR, I'm going to be looking at seeing if it bounces here at this support or what it looks like at market open. You can see the stock and options markets will be closed due to President's Day. So that's happening Monday, but on Tuesday at market open, we'll see if any opportunities present themselves. If you guys would like to watch me trade live at market open, it's the second link down below. It's StockMate. Again, you can get lifetime access there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.